Good Chair. Minister, I want to raise the issue today regarding the urgent need for an out-of-hours GP service on the north side of Cork City. The Blackpool South Dock service, which had served residents on the north side, closed in March. According to doctors practising locally, people have had to walk miles for the one operational service, which is situated in an industrial estate off the Kinsale Road roundabout in the south side of the city. While it is accessible by car, many of the people I have spoken with do not drive. The route is difficult for them to access on public transport. The cost of getting a taxi is becoming an issue for them. As the second biggest city in the country, there is an absolute need for a second service. Can the Minister outline if the HSE has any plans to address this issue or reinstate the service in Blackpool?
Thank you, Deputy. Minister Dandy.
Thank you, Deputy, and can I acknowledge your ongoing advocacy on this issue, a very important issue for the region and for your constituency. GP out-of-hours services for Cork and Kerry are provided by South Dock. South Dock is a private organisation with over 20 locations across 2 counties, including a treatment centre in Blackpool that provides for patients on the north side of Cork City. Further to public health guidance and the curtailment of in-person patient consultation, South Dock closed a number of treatment centres from March 14th. This was done in response to COVID-19 in order to protect both patients and staff and to limit the spread of the virus. Other than the Blackpool Centre, all centres in Cork City and County have since reopened. Cork Kerry Community Healthcare have written to and met with South Dock, requesting that the reopening of the Blackpool Centre is prioritised. Cork Kerry Community Healthcare have also requested a plan for South Dock for the reinstatement of services and a timeline for this. While a timeline has not yet been received, the closure has been confirmed as temporary in nature. South Dock have assured the HSE that every possible effort has been made and will continue to be made to avoid or minimise any impact on patients due to the temporary closures. The Government has supported the continuing provision of necessary out-of-hours GP services during the pandemic through a grant provided for service providers, including South Dock out-of-hours service provider.
O'Sullivan.
I thank the Minister for his response. I appreciate the impact that COVID-19 has had on all services throughout the health system. It's my understanding that South Dock services throughout the city and county were closed at the onset of the pandemic in order to curtail the spread of the virus. However, all centres in Cork City and county, as you've acknowledged, are open except for the one in Blackpool. Minister, I don't expect you to be overly familiar with the north side of Cork City, but for your information, there is a purpose-built medical centre which could house a new out-of-hours clinic called St Mary's Campus in Granabraher. A service in this area could also provide for the people of Tower, Blarney, Granagh and Whitechurch. The demand for this service is greatest on the north side of Cork City. One of the main issues here is that healthcare needs to be accessible for people without transport. I just welcome if you had any further elaboration on the possibility of using St Mary's as a facility for South Dock in the event that the Blackpool Centre itself cannot be opened.
So as you know, all of the relevant services were closed during COVID, and I have no doubt but that it is very frustrating for the people that you represent, for the people of the north of the city, that the Blackpool Centre remains closed. It is a priority that it is reopened, and the HSE has engaged both to ask for it to be reopened and to ask for a timeline. Now, it is frustrating that a timeline has not been provided, and I'd like to undertake to both deputies that I'll follow up with the HSE to see when we get a timeline. As to Deputy Barry's question around the resumption of services and what some services will be resumed, I can tell the Deputy that nothing has been brought to my attention suggesting that a smaller or more limited service is what would be opened up, and I can revert to the Deputy with a position from the HSE to that effect. Thank you.
Deputy O'Sullivan.
I thank the Minister for his response. The service closed in March, and while other out-of-hours services reopened in June, is now December, and the people of the north side of Cork City remain without a service. I urge the Minister and the HSE to make this a priority. Despite commitments to resolve the issue, it is months later and the situation is unchanged, and people are becoming increasingly frustrated given that it is the only unit that hasn't reopened. So look, can I just stress again the urgency of it, and I hope that you can prioritise it as soon as possible.
In a matter of days, I will have a response from the HSE. It doesn't mean, by the way, that South Dock will have provided the timeline that they have been asked for, but I will follow up with the HSE. I will re-stress how important this is, and I will revert on both issues in a matter of days to both deputies. Thank you.